What's up, everyone? This is Niyi Adewale, host of the Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Group. This group meets virtually every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and the members of this group are committed to achieving financial freedom well before the traditional retirement age. So in this podcast, you are going to get VIP access to the conversations we have about different forms of investment and creative ways to get your dollars working harder for you than you originally worked to obtain those dollars. You learn each day that this entrepreneurial journey is really about problem solving. And you know this better than me, but a few hours ago, I had a conversation with my cleaners, and long story short, going to need to build a new cleaning team.
Oh,
This was
no.
Yeah, it's tough. I still have 3 weeks or so,
Yeah.
but this is part of entrepreneurship, right? It's
Yep.
learning how to problem solve. And with this one, it was we keep growing at a rapid rate. And this individual was trying to build their team, finding it hard. And it was just, like working 24/7. That's not good for anybody. You don't want to run anybody into the ground. And so
Yep.
long story short, we're gonna need to move on and find a team.
Mhm.
But that's news I got like literally 2 hours ago. So I'm working on that piece, but I have no doubt we'll find it by the end of the month. We've done that for other positions, other roles. It's just, it sucks that day that it happens, but this is
Yeah.
part of it, man.
Yeah, you can't have the goods without the bads. I mean, it's not like it always runs itself forever, but like you said, it's just problem solving and then being quick to adapting and whatnot.
That is the key. And Jamie, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Super good. It's good to, hey, okay. Let me see the sign real quick. That is true. Hey, I like it. I like it, man. I like it. And I do like catching flights. Jamie, welcome. It's good to have you join. And definitely wanted to dig into, anytime we have somebody new join, we kind of put you on the spot and would love to, if you're open to it, if you could share just a little bit of what you do and kind of some of the new goals that you have for the next month.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've been flipping out in Phoenix for a couple of years now. And as the market has changed rapidly in the last 6 weeks, a lot of things have changed on our end. We have three houses that are just not selling at all. The 6 months ago, they would have multiple offers, probably 50 to 100,000 over in. And now we can't get rid of them. So we actually have started the process with one that we have to refinance completely and start and work on AirBNB, which is the one I sent you, me, and you gave me the information from AirDNA on that. And then we have another one that we just threw back on the market. It was pretty clean. We were gonna flip it and just decided to see what we could get because we knew the market was changing pretty quick. And I think we've had 5 people in the last 3 weeks walk that, and it's just received nothing. So we're going to go ahead and do a full flip on that and Airbnb that one. I literally just got off the phone with the lender right now, so we're working on getting that taken care of, get the construction loan and go ahead and get that one ready to go. And then we have another one that's not getting much traction either, and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do on that one. Either rent it, give it another week or two on the market, and then see what we're going to decide at that point. But my gut feeling is that's probably going to go the same route as the one I sent you. That's kind of where we are, and then we've started to really get into wholesaling. As the market's changed a little bit, we've had to adjust. So.
And Jamie, thank you for sharing that. Literally, it's it's what I was just talking about a little earlier on a different scale, right? But it's problem solving and being able to pivot. And to your point, the market has shifted in the last 2 weeks, or really 3 weeks since the Fed did that last rate hike and have threatened to do another. Mm-hmm. And what I've been seeing, at least around my market, I'd love to hear from other people on the call around your market, is for the past 2 years, the sellers have had all the power, right? It's been, hey, if something sold for 750, I'm going to list this for 775, not look at any comps, and it's going to sell for 800, right? And now with this recent change in the interest rates going from a low of like 2.8 to now a more normal rate of around 5 or 6, it's turning more into an equilibrium. But because sellers are so used to selling something in a week or so, Now the buyers have a slight advantage as far as being able to get more concessions, things of that nature. I know I'm trying to help a couple of my clients as well as myself get through a couple escrows to close them some deals. Is that kind of what you're seeing as well, Jamie, and others on the call?
Yeah, and I actually had about an hour with Carson today, and what he mentioned, which really surprised me, is they're now getting agents reaching back out to them. Carson, for everybody's information, they're wholesalers here. They're getting agents reaching back out to them who they had given offers to 2 months ago, and all of a sudden now they're getting counters to those offers, and they're making deals and actually making money through the MLS with almost daily now. So to your point, that the change in going from even when it was a buyer's market, the sellers right now just seems like they're starting to have a little panic in everything they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And to that point, I was talking and listening to just a couple podcasts and also reading up on some data, and actually talked to a couple mortgage lenders, and what they're like forecasting and what they're seeing is two things. One thing that's not going to change is that the largest population, in the history of the US, which is the millennials right now, is all hitting the buying age. Between the age of 28 and 32 is where most of them are. And some are getting priced out right now and saying, hey, I'm going to rent for another 12 months until everybody realizes, hey, this is like a normal way of living. Like the shock is still like cold water getting poured over your head when it went from 4% to 5 to. But if you are able to implement a strategy like you are, Jamie, which is to hold on to it for maybe the 12 to 18 month mark, I think you will get that value, because I still don't see prices coming down. I see more of a psychological shift where it's like, hey, everybody's like, hey, let me freeze for a second until you realize, that you can keep going. But would love to hear from others. Abdul, I know you're working out of the DC market, DMV. What are you seeing from your market?
In the DMV right now, what I'm seeing is there's a lot more when it comes to multi-family. There's a lot more multi-family properties that are being available. But the thing is, they're still going so quick, right? So like today, I went to see a bunch of them, and they have offers, but the thing is, they're not closing on the offers. Because some of them had normal, like you mentioned, millennials that are trying to buy into the multifamily, and they didn't get approved. They didn't get approved on their loan. So now I'm looking back at it and I'm like, oh, I can offer back on as an investor. I can offer back investor prices, right? So, but it's right now, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I saw so far today. But for an investor, it's still definitely open. A lot more multifamily are coming on board. I'm thinking a lot of people, a lot of like investors also, they're trying to sell because they're panicking. Landlords and stuff, they're trying to sell because they're panicking based on the market. So it is what it is.
Yeah, man. And in my mind, I'm looking at this as, hey, if you've got the capital, try to buy some more, because if you're able to acquire them, again, what we talked about earlier, there's still the largest generation hitting that buying age, and they're going to want to move into these houses. And so I'm still trying to acquire a lot, and now using this to our advantage, this short time frame that I feel like we have of that mental shift. But switching gears over to Kareem, welcome to the call again, man. It'd be good to get an update from you on kind of what you got going on.
Hey guys, can you hear me? All right, cool. Well, we had a bump in the road after we were very close to closing. We had to switch lenders. So the first lesson here is always work with a lender that is highly recommended by someone you know. The mistake that I made was that I shopped on my own and I found a lender online. I had a quick interview with that lender, and everything was fine. But then I started realizing a lot of red flags that was happening, and I noted that, but it was unfortunately too late. And the further you go down the process, the harder it is for you to switch. So they kind of got you by the belt buckle. So that's my lesson learned from that experience. We pivoted very quickly to another lender, and we used the 8-day extension on the contract because now we're definitely not closing in. We're not hitting that closing date that was initially contracted. So we're using the 8 days. We are in underwriting with the new lender, and I think they have all the information now that they need. Fingers crossed, and yeah, hoping to close it in a week or so, less than a week, hopefully.
Anybody else ever had an experience like that where you've worked with a lender that you can speak to kind of lift Kareem's spirit?
Just on the house that I just referred to or told you guys about, that we're actually going to fix and flip it to AirBNB, that house. The day before closing, our lender said, changed their mind and said that they needed 30% down. And so we did the exact same thing. We went to somebody else, and we were actually able to still close on the house in 24 hours after the lease.
That is crazy. And if that lender works in Georgia, please send them my way.
It's not cheap money.
For real.
Yeah. No, so it's Kareem, you are not the only one, but again, I think the theme of this call is all about problem solving, right? I talked about a couple issues. Job, you talked about a couple, Jamie and Kareem, but it's just figuring it out. And Shamika, it was good to see you on the line. What's new in your world? What you got going on?
Hey, for me, last month, Pierre and I spoke. I just am here to learn and get some education around what everyone does. Ultimately, my end goal is to invest, get an investment property. So I'm just trying to learn from everyone here. Also getting into, short term. And I have a friend who introduced me to Unique, and who has an Airbnb around the corner here. So I'm gonna just learn ins and outs of what she does in that field. And for everyone, I'm new here. I have a banking background, so I'm just transitioning. I own a home now with my family, so I know everything right now with, selling. I mean, eventually when I have 2 kids, so I do want to eventually be able to rent out my place to get something bigger and better for my family. So ultimately, like I said, I'm just here for the education.
Fair enough. And there's plenty of that to go around. And Job, wanted to kick it to you. I know it's coming. We've been talking about real estate a lot. You're coming from a more financial background, but what's new in your world?
Oh, it's a fun place to be right now in financial services. Inflation just went up to 9.1%, highest it's been in 40 years. So that is a joy, causing some stress inside the markets, some panic selling, some fear. But ultimately, I mean, things are good. Economy is still strong. Job market is strong. Typically, we enter into a recession with a big R, as I call it, when the consumer is out of money, which is absolutely not the case. People have a decent chunk of change in the bank right now, and when the banks are not strong, and that is also not the case. The banks are very strong right now. So the way we're viewing this is a recession with a small R, hoping things kind of start to turn around in the next 8 to 18 months or so. But if you look historically at recessions in the past, I can't remember the time period exactly. I think it's 200 years or so. Yeah, there's been about 44 recessions since the Great Depression, I think the time frame might be. Typically, there's a recession every 5 years. We've just been in a bull market for the past 14. So it's catching people by surprise a little bit, but it's not, the financial crisis. It's not the Great Depression where we've had a major recession. I don't see this being the case at all. Essentially what happened is there was a pocket created during COVID. Government inflated that pocket with surplus spending, lowering interest rates, lowering inflation, and then things shifted from goods spending to service spending. So that pocket got bursts, and now we're just kind of making that shift back. So I think it's a phenomenal opportunity to be buying into market type assets or real estate. I'm still looking to buy into real estate. Ideally, I'll see the interest rates come down a little bit or prices come down a little bit. But I would agree. I don't think we're seeing like a crazy decrease in price point because surplus is still low. We still have motivated buyers and people can still afford their mortgages. There's no, bad things going on there at all. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a quick note on what we're really getting told and what we're looking at as we're kind of helping our clients out here. But from those recessions, those 44 recessions, almost in 100% of those cases, the market was back up to a positive place within 12 months. So, I mean, it's a nice thing. I would love the confidence to just dump all my money into the market right now, but I also kind of got to take my own advice and keep any money I'm spending in the next year or two in cash or market removed assets, because if I don't have the money to pay for my wedding in 2 years, my fiance is going to be a little pissed off.
Hey, and you still got to be on this earth in 2 years. So that's important.
Yeah, if I want to help some people, I got to be here. But no, so it's an interesting place, a lot of fear. But I mean, as we've always talked about, if you have a plan, if you've got resources, backup resources, cash flow, real estate's a really nice thing to hold right now. It's just not making short-term or long-term decisions off short-term emotions.
And that's the hardest part, right? Because human psychology right now is, hey, everything's going down, the sky's falling. Let me pull out of everything, sell at a loss, and just hole up somewhere. Where the rich actually get richer, or the wealthy get wealthier during this time period, is because they're able to get past that and say, hey, historically, this is what happens. And so let me buy this property. Let me flip this, turn it into an Airbnb, not sell it for a loss, and then sell it in 12 to 18 months. Let me, put a little bit more money in the market at this time, or stay consistently putting money in the market. One stat that you mentioned I want to dig into was the 9.1% inflation this month. Now, the 0.75 hike, was that factored into this month's inflation? If it was, it feels like it didn't, because that 9.1, I guess what I'm getting at is in 3 weeks, the Fed's going to meet again, and they're going to decide on what they're going to raise. Based on that 9.1, are we looking at another 0.75 in your eyes, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, so it's hard to tell for that one specifically, because we look at it in one of two ways. We're wondering, are they going to raise it another 0.75 in anticipation of making the decreases less dramatic? So like if they raise 0.75, are they going to then go decrease 3 months from there 1%, because now they can, because they've over raised interest rates to get to that capacity? Or are they going to try to start slowing the increase and not have additional rate hikes? So it's a little hard to tell, a little uncertain. My thought is they might do another 0.75% rate hike, just so that when they start lowering rates again, they have a nice high number to start at and can say, hey, we're lowering rates 1%, 1.5%, because they raised them an additional 0.75% in such a short time frame.
True. And at that point, it is time to refinance once it comes back down a little bit. But no, that's awesome. And thank you for that highlight and just for your knowledge on that piece.
Absolutely.
I see we also have Kiera on. Kiera, how you doing? And what's going on new in your world?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hi, everyone. Everything's going well in my world. I was extremely excited for last Sunday, all of our team to get out and successfully build another Airbnb in Peachtree Corners. So that's another one on the roster. That's exciting that we're expanding so quickly. Still leveraging the W-2 income from my software job and saving up to invest in a short-term rental, hopefully with me in October. So I'm excited about that, and just continuing to learn from other investors and seeing how I can add value and learn from other people as well. So it's been an exciting year so far.
Fair enough. And I'm pumped too. So the Ekabo home team is growing a bit, and we're starting to build out the short-term rental portfolio, and we have a lot in line on the docket. I think we're going to have probably 20 units under management, including a couple owned by the team by the end of the year. And so every time we get one of these, when we're putting it together, we have a day where we all link up and we're all, putting together furniture, trying out new restaurants, and just hanging out. And so this past Sunday we did that. And actually this Sunday we're doing another one. So Kiera, we're excited to grow and continue building the team. So thank you for the shout out there. Another individual on, Francesco, how you doing, man? You gotta stop using the bootleg AirPods though, man. You gotta get the real ones.
You're right. Yeah, man. I'm doing well. You know, just adjusting to homeowning, being a homeowner, and making changes in the house, and just getting used to it, man. It's like what, 2 months in, and my first home. The process was pretty intense, but you know, we're here, so I'm grateful.
I guess the only question is, when are you buying your next one, man? It's been 2 months. The time's ticking.
I know, right? I'm wasting time. Yeah, no, that's a great question. So my next one is definitely going to happen. I would say within the next year. That's the goal. Because right now I'm trying to make proper renovations. Like, for instance, I'm trying to put AC in the house. Didn't even know that house didn't come with AC. You know, I should have read it well. I just assumed, because the only place where I heard of this was, you know, California, Los Angeles. A lot of the places don't come with air conditioning. So I thought, like, you know, other places it's like, you know, it's automatic. But I guess when the home is older, the rules don't apply. So.
Fair enough. And for the record, this is in the DMV. So if you're in the DMV area, make sure you check if it has air conditioning.
Yeah, for sure.
That is needed
like,
in the summer.
Rule number 1, before you even look. Yeah, honestly. But I mean, I'm fortunate.
No, that's cool, man. And again, we're still excited for you to have that first property under your belt, because from there it just gets easier and easier. And now you understand the process, and so you can almost have a calm mind and a major focus going into the next one and the next one and the next one. But really wanted to open it up to the group. Those were just a couple topics, you know, kind of going around round robin. But what is top of mind for the rest of the group? What are you working on? What are some questions that potentially other people on here could help you with? Please feel free to chime in.
I have a question, Nick. Correct. So the next step for me would be ideally to transfer the ownership of the investment property from my name into the LLC that I'm working on. And what are the steps, if any, to transfer the loan itself from my name to the LLC? Is that something that we do, or what's the process there?
So I'm going to give my thoughts, and then I would love to get Jamie, Abdul, others that have gone through this, love to get your thoughts on this as well. So with the LLC, what you're trying to do is just get a little bit of protection and get one step away from the property to where it's kind of in a bubble by itself. And so with that, I believe you're already working with the lawyer to create the LLC. All you want to do is what I do typically, and we'll get Jamie and Abdul's opinion too. I usually wait 30 days to let the loan kind of season, and then I transfer it into the LLC, and it's not even that hard. You just do a quick claim deed. You really just talk to the lawyer, and they'll send you a document. You'll sign it under a notary, send it back in, and all of a sudden your LLC owns that property. Now, the whole point of not just purchasing the property in the LLC to begin with and purchasing it under your own name is you get way better lending. All right. Fannie and Freddie Mac will give you a 30-year loan, you know, with a lot less interest. And so you do not, I repeat, you do not want to transfer that loan into your LLC because you're not going to get the same type of lending. They'd probably switch it over to a commercial loan or do a due on sell clause, because that does count as somebody purchasing the home. But Jamie, what are your thoughts?
I haven't done any of that yet. I mean, I've purchased all of our properties that we've fixed and flips are purchased under our LLC. And for the most part, you know, that's not so much of an issue. You don't have to separate it as much as far as trying to protect each individual house on the flip side. But to what Kareem was asking, we're going to have to end up doing the same thing once we get into each individual property completed and ready to go into an Airbnb or a rental. You know, so we'll be asking the same question. I'm glad it was a great question, because it'll definitely help me out.
Fair enough. And I should caveat this. It doesn't count if you're buying everything cash, like Jamie and his team.
Yeah.
Abdul, have you had experience transferring things into an LLC?
Oh, no, but I definitely heard of what you mentioned. I was actually in the process of doing it, but I did it. I was inquiring about it, but I was inquiring about it. I was on the lending side. It was on the lending side I was inquiring about it, and they were telling me, yo, don't do it. Like, even the lenders were like, no, just do it in your personal and then transfer, exactly what you said. So that's what I'm doing.
So to that point, let me expound on that. And then Kareem, please let me know if this fully answered the question. So Yeah, you want to get as many loans as you can when you're building up your rental portfolio in your own name. I think the max is 10, depending on debt to income and things of that nature, but the max you can get is 10. And believe me, after you get 4, it gets tricky. You got to bounce to a bunch of different lenders, but you can get 10. And it gives you that 30-year loan where you're locked in at that interest rate and don't really have to worry about much. After that, you've got to start moving into either SCR loans, which is newer, I feel like, but that's where it's based on the income of the property. And you can still get a 30-year loan, but your interest rate's going to be higher. And so that's about where I'm getting to right now. I'm about to have to start doing that for every other property. Or you'd have to do what's called a portfolio loan, which is more on the commercial side. And I've done that as well, and the terms are not as good. Like, I bought a 12 unit under that, and I bought that in 2018, and I just sold that about a month and a half ago. Reason being, all the rates were going to reset in about a year, right? So I had 5 years of fixed, amortized over 20 instead of 30. So, the mortgage on that was, I want to say like close to $4,000 instead of $3,000 because it's 10 years less. But long story short, yeah, when you're transferring these things, you want to put it in your name. Wait about 30 days so that everything can season, and then just reach out to the lawyer and say, hey, I want to quit claim this into my LLC. And then it becomes your LLC. And then when it's in your LLC, you want to make sure you have your bank accounts, credit cards, anything that you're going to use for that property tied to that LLC to make it easier for your CPA, and also to separate liability so that if anything happens, not saying it will, because I know you're going to run it right, but if anything happens, it doesn't look like, hey, you're just paying out of the same account that's personal, which could pierce the veil. You want to have it completely separate as if that LLC is a different person.
Got it. So the follow-up question to that is, when you transfer that deed, does the loan come off of your credit, like your credit report? So if I'm going to the next property, will the previous one show up on my debts?
It will. So the loan's still going to be in your name, and really you don't want to, at least for me, and don't take this as legal advice, please, but I don't really talk to the lender about moving a property into an LLC. As long as you're paying your mortgage on time and you have it, I just set it to auto pay, they don't really ask questions. Rarely, if ever, is a due on sale clause called. And if it is, you could just move it back in your name. But no, you don't want to. And can you repeat that one more time, Kareem? I went down a complete sidetrack.
No worries. Transferring the ownership of the unit versus transferring the loan or the debt. So the LLC will own the unit, the property.
Correct.
But I still own the debt.
Correct. And it's still going to show up on any credit report. So when you're applying for the next loan, it's still going to be in your credit report. But the thing that you're going to have going for you that they look at is the income you're bringing in. Now, here goes the benefit and the difference between long-term income, like a regular 12-month rental, and short-term rental. So one of the issues I ran into on the house that I'm purchasing, hopefully this Monday, is I have 2 homes that I purchased last year that I've been using for short-term rental. And because I haven't been doing short-term rental or shown it on a tax return for 2 straight years, they don't count that income. And so on my debt to income statement, I have a combined mortgage of 47 plus 27 as a negative on me. So they're like, hey man, you're pretty close. It was pretty tight. Thankfully, I was able to scramble and find somebody. But that's one of the negatives, is that with short-term rental income, you get significantly more, but they're not quote unquote going to count it towards you until you have that second year. Now, long-term rental income, they count immediately because they view that as more stable, 12-month. And there's ways around this. For example, if you're getting ready to apply for a loan, you could have, Abdul could sign a lease because he's moving to Atlanta. We don't know he's not moving to Atlanta. He could sign a 12-month lease for X amount per month. And that could take that statement off of your debt and make you look more favorable, if that makes any sense. We could talk about that when the time comes.
Yeah, sounds like a hack. I'd like to learn more. Cool. Good. Thank you for that.
Of course.
I would even add onto that would be, if you can, and I know we've probably all heard it, but make or get a relationship with small local bank. That is the one thing that I got lucky and became really good friends with a VP of a small local bank that they only have banks in Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. And now all of our loans will go through him. And you mentioned the DSCR loans, is that right? Yeah, and I took that to him because you had told me about it a few weeks ago. I took it to him, and he's like, "Yeah, absolutely, we'll take care of that. We can, once we get an idea what the income's going to be, and we'll just do the loan that direction." So, yeah, get those relationships with the small banks are really cool.
And love that. And again, if he expands to Georgia, please let us know, man.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. We have a cool lineup of some more guests that are going to be joining in the future. I believe the next one's actually joining next week, Wednesday. So this is going to be, it's going to be a little bit different, right? So last week we were joined by Jason, who is an out-of-state investor that's been doing fix and flips from out of state. He's been doing long-term rentals, short-term rentals. He used to be in the restaurant industry, et cetera. And we've had a couple, financial wellness individuals as well, such as Abdul 2 weeks ago. We heard about his story and how he's been able to invest in a myriad of different industries. So next week is going to be a little bit different. I actually have my virtual assistant, who is a bookkeeper that attends Harvard and owns a whole bookkeeping company. He's got like 20 people working underneath him that bookkeep for people across the nation. And he's going to be joining to talk about how he's built his business and kind of what that looks like. So stay tuned. I think there's going to be a lot of nuggets that we can gain from him, and would love if you guys were able to join and kind of ask questions at the end. But again, it's great to see everybody's beautiful faces. Let's continue to problem solve, figure this thing out, and continue to motivate each other. And, I hope everybody has a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nee.
Thanks, Nee. Nee, you know that house is still on the market.
I hear you. We're going to put another offer in there. I got
another offer in this week.
Done and done. All right, y'all. Be safe.
See ya.
Have a good night.